I grew up knowing my role in the family, not the favored son, not the prodigy. I was the reliable one. Chloe was the golden child, the one who deserved everything because she was special. I was the one who was told to make do. When Chloe got a car for her 17th birthday, I got Dad's old bike, with half the gears broken, when she went to summer programs in Europe. I worked at a grocery store, bagging groceries for my classmates' parents. When I wanted to apply to a university, out of state, they told me, "Be realistic, Ethan. Community college is fine. It builds character." Builds character. I used to think that was just a bad cliché. Turns out it was their way of saying, "We're not investing in you." The moment that broke me happened at Chloe's graduation party. The house was full of people, relatives, neighbors, my parents' friends. I was in the kitchen, clearing glasses, when I heard voices drifting from the dining room. Mom's voice was sweet and proud. "Oh, Chloe's apartment in Florence is beautiful. 2 bedrooms, fully furnished. She'll have tuition, rent, travel, everything covered." Someone asked, "And Ethan?" Dad's laugh was sharp. "Oh, he's doing community college, paying for it himself. Builds character. And frankly, Chloe's the one with the real talent." The conversation moved on. Mine didn single quotes. In that moment, I wasn't their son. I was an afterthought. 2 weeks later, I found the folder in the attic. We were looking for old photo albums when Mom's phone rang, and she left me up there alone. The folder was buried under a stack of tax returns, labeled Harrison Estate, my grandparents' name. Inside, I found the will. "To our grandson, Ethan Harrison, we leave the sum of $312,652 to be held in trust until his 18th birthday. I turned 18 3 months ago." No one had said a word. The bank statements told the rest. Withdrawals $20,000 here, $15,000 there. Notes in Mom's handwriting. Chloe tuition, apartment down payment, semester abroad flights. They hadn't just lied. They had stolen my future and given it to her. I didn't explode. I didn't even confront them. I planned. Step 1. I got a lawyer, a real shark, the kind who smiles when things get ugly. Step 2. I hired a forensic accountant. Every dollar my grandparents left me had been traced, logged, and matched to expenses. Step 3. I learned everything about my parents' finances, their mortgages, their investments, which accounts were joint, which were separate, which credit cards they used for Chloe's rent payments, and I waited. The day I struck was the day before Chloe's next rent payment was due. I wanted the impact to be instant. We sat down for dinner, the 3 of them smiling, relaxed, talking about Chloe's upcoming trip to Rome. I let them finish their food before pulling the will and bank statements out of my backpack. "I know," I said, setting the papers on the table. Dad glanced at them, frowning. "What is this?" "It's the will Grandma and Grandpa left, and the bank statements showing exactly how you stole over $300,000 that was meant for me." Mom went pale. Dad's jaw tightened. Chloe froze. "I've already frozen your accounts," I continued. "Every card, every line of credit. Tomorrow, your bank will reverse every payment for Chloe's rent and tuition that came from my inheritance. She's going to be out of that apartment in a week." "You can't do that," Dad said. "I already did," I told him. 3 days later, Chloe called me from Florence. She was crying, telling me the landlord had locked her out and the university had barred her from classes. "You ruined my life," she screamed. "No," I said. "Mom and Dad ruined it when they stole mine. Now you get to live like me, without a safety net." I hung up. The legal process took months. My lawyer proved they had violated the trust. We got back what remained, a little over $230,000, plus damages. But I didn't stop there. I had learned during my digging that my parents were behind on their second mortgage. They were counting on refinancing with the equity from the house. I bought their debt from the bank through an LLC they didn't know was mine. When the refinance fell through, they defaulted. The eviction notice came from my company. I didn't show up to see them leave. I just got a text from a neighbor saying a moving truck had been there all morning. I took my money and moved far away. Enrolled in the university I actually wanted. Rented a penthouse apartment just because I could. I didn't block their numbers. I wanted them to see my success every time they tried to call. They took my inheritance to give Chloe the world. Now, they have nothing, and I have everything they tried to keep from me. 5 years. Later, I hadn't thought about Chloe in a long time. I was in New York for a conference, staying at a high-rise hotel. I'd just stepped out of the elevator when I saw her at first. I almost didn't recognize her. The polished, perfectly dressed sister I remembered was gone. Her hair was unevenly cut. Her clothes faded and 2 sizes too big. She was bussing tables at the hotel cafe, moving like someone whose body was always tired. She saw me before I saw her. The tray in her hands froze midair. "Ethan," her voice cracked. I looked at her for a long moment before answering. "Chloe." She glanced down, embarrassed. "Can we talk?" I sat across from her during her break. She told me the story in fragments after Florence. She'd tried to go back to school, but couldn't afford it. Mom and Dad had lost the house, moved in with a relative, then moved out of state when things got worse. The 3 of them barely spoke anymore. "I'm trying to save 4 classes again," she said quietly, "but it's hard." Her eyes searched mine. "You could help me. I know you could." I let the silence stretch until she started to fidget. "Do you remember the night I found out?" I asked. "The night I learned you'd been living in an apartment bought with my inheritance, eating meals I paid for, studying on tuition stolen from me." Her face twisted. "Ethan, I was a kid. You were 18. I cut in. Same age I was when they told me to work minimum wage to pay for community college. The difference is, I didn't live on stolen money." Her eyes welled up. "So that's it. You're just going to let me, I'm going to let you," I said, standing up. "That's the part you never understood. No one ever let me do anything. I had to take it, and so will you." I left her there, staring at the table, as the elevator doors closed. I felt no guilt. They'd taken my inheritance. I'd taken back my life. And now, I was taking away the last thing they ever expected, to lose my forgiveness.